Welcome to Motogp Mac. In this video, we're going to talk about Jorge Martin staying as an Aprilia rider until the end of 2026. Now, we all know how this drama unfolded where Jorge came out and said, there was a right in my contract to an exit clause and I chose to activate the exit clause. This all kind of seemed to die down. Then his manager was like, oh, we're free to talk to everyone or anyone else. He's a free rider. And that really seemed to piss Aprilia off. And Aprilia's Massimo Rivola came out and said, we will fight this to the death. We will take this to court if necessary. Also, Dorna came out and said, this needs to be sorted by the end of the year or else. And we've talked about this over the course of time, how it is a bit of a weird situation. But on Friday in a press conference, Jorge Martin announced that he was going to stay with Aprilia for the 2026 season. And realistically, without saying it, he didn't have an illegal leg to stand on. He was going to lose the battle. He said, I could have fought it on and this, that, and the other. But then at times in life, you have to make a decision, aka his solicitor said, you're having a fucking leg to stand on. Therefore, get back on the bike. And look, I think it's probably the right decision. I think the only ones that will be a little bit disappointed in this is Honda. But then saying this, Jorge did return this weekend in the Brno Grand Prix. And he did make a very, very good account for himself. Like, you have to remember, this guy doesn't have an awful lot of time on the Aprilia. Yes, he did a private test. Yes, he has some experience of it, but for a majority of the season he has been injured and he's found himself on a pretty decent package. To give Bezzecchi some kudos, he has done well coming in as everyone knew as the second rider. He has stepped up to the plate and he has helped Aprilia get to where they are. But saying that, I don't think there's going to be any worries or issues or concerns of Martin's, let's just say, willingness to get on with it. You know what I mean? He's going to perform, and I think he will do to a really good standard. Will he be mixing it with the Ducatis? Not quite sure yet. He still has and needs a lot of time to figure that bike out. So realistically, is 2025 just going to be the rest of the season going to be a test to get him ready for the 2026 season? But I do find it very funny, all of a sudden there is a change of heart, and for me it seems that the legal teams have told them you can't win this one. Aprilia's contract is watertight. The exit clause doesn't come into effect because you haven't completed X amount of races, etc. So it is kind of weird, because at the time of the talk of the exit, Martin said he talked to Aprilia to extend it. They declined. And were they declining because he hadn't competed in enough races, so therefore the exit clause couldn't be used? I do find it pretty weird. Yes, I think the team and Martin can coexist and get on. Let's be fair, a couple of podiums or a couple of race wins, everything that happened before it will be history. That's how motorsport goes. So I definitely do find it interesting. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the whole Jorge Martin issue now that it's been sorted? Was he forced to stay, or did he have a change of heart and say, listen, I'm not going to fight this as much as I should or could? So definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.